Hello, this is AORATH with your secret map through the back end of reality. That's what we're calling it for now. We'll probably change that over and over and over again because we like to constantly shapeshift. But we are starting to move in tone. Now, there's a few things we should say in introduction, because if you've been listening for a while, you know that this speaking as AORATH is newer. We've been speaking as Robin for a long time. We are a component of Robin's consciousness, 12th dimensional perspective. And we want to talk a little bit about what that is. We want to talk a little bit about our room mechanics that we're offering as a framework for understanding reality. We think it deserves constant refresher because so far there's no one listening who quite entirely grasps it, and we're still working on presenting it. And in this episode in particular, we are going to be... Now, Robin has been coming out of her, what she's calling now, visionary initiatory crucible. Very intense shadow confrontation. And so she's been in the trenches, just coming out of the trenches and talking about what she's learned in the trenches. And just now, she's starting to surface back into a softer place. So we are going to do some introductions and some explanation, and then we're going to be shifting into that softer place, both for your enjoyment. We're going to be talking about unconditional love, and to clarify something very important about room mechanics and the framework that we're offering, because we see some misconceptions that could arise, and we want to clear them up really, really well. This is complex. Delivering higher dimensional information to three-dimensional beings is challenging because there are so many pitfalls. The mind can grab on to certain concepts and sort of distort them, and they can be harmful. So we want to be very careful with our offering. And this is the part of the reason that we do keep a lot of it under lock and key, to be unlocked only by people who are ready for it. That's why they have, secret teachings. But there's a lot we can offer. We just want to do it right. So the first thing we'll say is just to help ground you in what you're hearing. A lot of you who are listening are probably already comfortable with listening to channeled content, which is what this is, more or less. But we also want to move you, because I think that a lot of people perceiving channeled content are perceiving like, okay, Robin is a channel and she's receiving information, or she's connecting with a higher dimensional entity that is speaking through her. And that's not exactly what this is. And that's not exactly ever what it is. Because, you see, with room mechanics, we're teaching you this. The whole damn thing is one consciousness. This is the part that trips people up, and this is why we really have to talk about unconditional love. Because you can see that as solipsism, but it's the opposite. It really is the opposite. All is one, not one is all. Meaning, let's rephrase that. That's not exactly it. One, well, we don't want to lose our spot. All right, let's stick to the channeling, and then we'll talk about why this is not solipsism. And we'll say simply that the projection of solipsism onto this teaching is false. In that most people in their minds are perceiving solipsism as being the idea that I am the only person who exists and everyone else is a figment of my imagination. And of course, what we're offering as the truth of your reality could very easily be summarized that way and thought of incorrectly that way. And think of it a little bit differently. Think of it as everything in your reality is also you. It's not a figment of your imagination. It's tangibly you. So, and this is going to be the theme here. And this is where we will lead in with unconditional love. So we'll get back to the channeling, all tied in. So when Robin is accessing us, she is merely accessing a higher dimensional aspect of herself. Because anything she accesses is another aspect of herself. And we have an independent experience to her, just like all the others in her environment, in your environment, have an independent experience to you. But we're also all one thing. And here's the interesting paradox. This is where you have to accept two seemingly contradictory things at once. Everything is Robin's. And she will never access anything that isn't her. Because as soon as it comes into her awareness, it's her. And you will never access anything that isn't you, because the moment it comes into your awareness, it is you. So we're not saying you're the only one that exists. There are infinite consciousnesses. So there are infinite others, but not as they appear in your experience. And we understand that that's hard, a hard pill to swallow, because it can make you feel isolated. But what we're trying to help you understand is that because this is such an important thing to understand right now, because you're at a turning point where there are two paths before you. The one where you continue to think reality is something that is happening to you, and there are others in your experience, and they're imposing themselves on you and on each other, and everything is out of your control, and more or less, and you are just a player in a larger game. In a sense, you are a player in a larger game, but it's your game. And this is going to be so important for you to understand. Because when you understand yourself as the central axis of your entire experience, this is when you know and you understand room mechanics, meaning you understand the way in which you project and make and manifest the experience. This is when you start to take responsibility for your reality, and your reality starts to change because you are deliberately, intentionally changing it, accepting it as yourself. It's the fundamental reason that this teaching is so important. And anyone, here's the thing, if you have trouble with this, you may just want to go away from us. Because the people we're speaking to are the people who already see this tangibly in their experience, meaning you live in a state of synchronicity. If you think it, it appears. Everything is harmonized. The external world is harmonized to your thoughts. You're having a conversation in your head and people walk by finishing the very sentence you were thinking in your head, because you are closer and closer to lucid dreaming this thing. And it's becoming more harmonic, more resonant in its responsiveness to you. So that is to say, some people will know that this is true. And perhaps they just haven't reached this exact framework, the room mechanics framework that we're offering. And Some will really feel uncomfortable with it because, they don't want to feel like they're the only one. And I think both parties might feel that way. So this episode is to address that and assuage that, and to understand that this is far from a permission slip to harm others or treat them like they're not important because they're just a hallucination. That is not what this is. That's not what this is. And we're going to continue to refine our language, taking out things like projection of reality into creation of reality, because look, we have to constantly restrain ourselves, because the nature that we understand could be so easily misinterpreted by you all. So we're not going to present it exactly as we understand it. We have to water it down a bit, and we have to fib a little just to make it not too mind-blowing, to be honest. It's like drawing a circle instead of presenting a full what a circle actually is to you. We have to make a symbolic representation of it. So bear with us as we do that. But everything that you put into your room, meaning every experience that you create, every character you interact with, every thought you think, it's you. It's inseparable from you. It is just you standing over there, having thoughts and feelings that the you that's in your center awareness is not currently aware of. We hope this is being understood. So everything you create, everything in your consciousness, everything in your awareness, as material reality or mental reality or feeling reality, is you. Your neighbor is you. Your dog is you. And that's not to say you're the main character. That's to say everything is exactly as important as you. It's eternal to you. It's integral to you. This is why all of the teachings of all the ones who see this say, treat others how you want to be treated. You can find that in almost every religious lineage, because they've touched on this reality, they've seen this reality, those ones, and they've brought back this translation. Why treat others the way you want to be treated? It's not just conceptual, it's physics. Here's a really serious truth we're going to give you, and we are skipping ahead in our teachings to make this one really, really clear, because it's a little bit do or die here in understanding this. Everything you do to or even think about everyone else in your room, in your reality, you are doing and thinking about yourself. And so, this is basically what karma is. So, you may not be aware of receiving it. Let's say you hurt someone. You may not be the one being hurt in this moment. You're the one hurting. But you will eventually feel that hurt because it's you. That's why this becomes, in part, that's why this becomes a very dangerous game that can really pull you in to a constant tug of war with yourself that gets more and more violent. So this is why there is this projection of the danger of seeing all as you, as though you're the only thing that matters. We think that seeing everything as separate has not served you very well so far. You think, oh, I slandered that person, but I haven't heard the repercussions, and so the damage was done, but I haven't paid for it. It doesn't matter to me. I don't even feel guilty about it. No big deal. And you don't, because it's another, with another experience. You judge that person. It's just someone else. It's done. You don't understand. It's you. You're hurting yourself, and you're at war with yourself. And when you try to have power over someone else, you are subjecting yourself. And you will experience that if you don't understand it. If you don't understand and experience it emotionally, you will understand it through experiencing it physically. And that is why so many are stuck in reincarnational loops, because they keep fighting the other, not realizing the other is themselves. So they have to keep getting punched and punching and then getting punched and punching and then getting punched. And each time they forget why they're getting punched, because they punched themselves 100 years ago. Because they fail to recognize the self in the other. And the recognition, you see, let's broaden it. When you look at the world stage and you look at humanity as a whole, and you feel disheartened and you feel angry and you feel upset, this goes back to the shadow integration that we were talking about. You're rejecting yourself, saying they're bad over there. I hate them. I wish they would stop. They're wrong. Now, we're not saying they're right, but we're saying they are the antimatter to your matter. They are the yin to your yang, or the yang to your yin. They're your brother. They're your sister. More so than a brother or sister, as you perceive. They are your half. So rejecting them only pulls the whole game tighter and creates increased sense of otherness, increased sense of polarity. And the more polarized you are, the harder, more brutal, and denser the game is. The farther away you are from the recognition of all as one, you, that this is your thing. And we want to be clear. You don't have to look at people and recognize that they have their own rich life, that they have their own center of consciousness that has their own world too. They do. But in your room, in your own consciousness, they are only ever you. That's the paradox we keep asking you to hold. And we know that it's scary. But your sensory experience, your consciousness experience is your own. It's not contact with some external objective reality. It's not a thing. It's entirely self-generated. It's entirely self-generated. Just let that paradox exist for now. It's very hard for us to explain why someone else has their own consciousness, but also is entirely you in your reality. This is high concept. So a part of you just needs to let it go for now, those paradoxes, and get back into your room where your consciousness experience is exclusively yours, and it's infinite. It's fractal. It's constantly coming apart into polarity and moving back into unity awareness, that all the others are you. And that whether you see them as having their own consciousness, independent experience or not, They can only ever be responsive to you in your frequency, in your level of harmony or discordance. You are at the control panel of your entire reality. You are. Now, the question of then why, this critique of victim blaming, right? Then if I am a child and something bad happens to me, how is that my responsibility? And this is a very, very, if you're still in a very three-dimensional, we live one lifetime frame of mind, then you again leave the room. Not your room, you can never leave your room, but leave our room, because you don't understand that you're eternal. If you accept that you're eternal, that you're eternally here, that you're eternally experiencing causation, then you understand that the moment you're born is not the moment you're born, it's just the moment you're stepping into the next incarnation and back into the sim, because the old avatar has expired. That's all. It's a continuation. And it's all you, and it's all resonant to you. And also, you do not know what someone's suffering is actually, what it leads to, and what happens at the moment of death is actually, for most people, quite wonderful. So get rid of your very limited perception of what is good, what is bad, what is fair, what is just. We're telling you the truth of reality. We're telling you that you're at the driver's seat. You're at the control panel. If you struggle with that, this isn't for you. Because saying, I don't think it's fair that everyone is responsible for their own reality, and we're not saying that on a physical level. Like, we're not saying, we're saying on a metaphysical, eternal storyline. This is the core truth. And understanding it can shift things intergenerationally and collectively forever. Choosing to remain in a disempowered state because you don't think it's fair that you are responsible for your reality is your choice. But we are speaking to those who see this, and we're speaking to those who understand it, that it is of vital importance that you understand your responsibility to your reality, understand your responsibility to your entire world. You are responsible for the entire world. It's your world. You literally are. And so mastering your room, mastering these mechanics, mastering yourself, understanding the importance of every other, and understanding that there's no hierarchy in that importance. It's all you. It's all equally important. It's all you. It's all the whole consciousness. It's all the beautiful design, the beautiful isness of all that is you. It's you. And this is where we move. We wanted to cover those moments for those people who may be hesitant at the door, and we gave you your opportunity to leave or to come in. And we really want to stress that now is the time, because we don't want to expose ourselves to this mixed energy. This is a small teaching for a small amount of people. If you don't resonate with it, go away. Because we're about to talk about unconditional love. And we're about to move into that state with those who are resonant with us. What do we mean by unconditional love? Robin's wondering if she wants to do this part. I think I should, because I don't even know if I can get out of your I'm kind of merged. I'm kind of fighting between the two modalities, but I'm thinking that I want to express the love with my voice, but maybe we share it. Robin, we think we should keep going. All right. Your All right, the nature and importance of unconditional love. What do we mean by unconditional? We mean the rose is not an object of love 1 iota more than the lamppost. And we cannot stress enough how much you all need to hear this. There's nothing, not one molecule in your entire reality that is not you. If you believe that some things are more worthy of love, or some things trigger your love more than others, you're way off mark. And it must begin with you. Feel, understand, love you. And so you'll start with that and then you'll move out. You will love you with the same unconditionality that you love the lamppost and the rose. There is not one aspect of yourself that you are going to withhold that love from. Not one. There's not one corner, not one crevice, not one memory, not one attribute that is going to hide from the love that you have for yourself. You're not going to give it to yourself because you're good or worthy. You're going to give it to yourself because it is yours to give. And because it is the true resting state of what you are. It's who you are. Melt into it with yourself, not assessing for your value, not picking yourself apart, not wondering if you have done the right thing or are doing the right thing, taking every nasty little bit and holding it like a child with an unconditional love that you will never, ever relinquish ever again. Not for a second will you stop loving yourself. Not for a second ever again for all eternity. There is nothing you could ever do that would make you stop loving yourself. Nothing. That's unconditional love. When you've achieved this, you can now extend it outward to all the other yous. And we mean it. You're going to love that lamppost no more and no less unconditionally than you love yourself. It's your lamppost. And the more you love that lamppost, the more beautiful it's going to become. And the more you love yourself, the more beautiful it's going to become. And the more you love the whole damn world, the more beautiful it's going to become. Period. You want the real cheat code? You want the real hack to this whole thing? We can room mechanics you to the cows come home. But if you leave with nothing but unconditional love, you've won the damn game. Period. Period. Case closed. Now, there is an art to loving other people. That's the hardest part. And that should not be mistaken with behaving how you need to behave as a human being in this arena to preserve yourself and to honor others with truth. So loving others is first and foremost, it's unconditional, it should be innate, it doesn't matter how much someone pisses you off and that you never want to see them again and screw them. That's fine, you can do all that. That is not love. That's not about love. Telling someone to hit the road. Boy, are we being gentle with our language. Telling someone they're a horrible... You guys can't curse. I've heard you curse before. Not in this state, I suppose. All right. I was starting to project there. Okay, back to it. Oh God, Robin, we love you. I think no, don't project. Sorry. So when that happens, when they're on a roll, that was like pure channeling. Sometimes when we talk, I'll like start to do their voice and like, because I'm the channel, like I can't necessarily tell when they're talking and when I'm talking, when we're in a flow. And sometimes sometimes I'm not being a very pure channel, and I'll do what they call project, which is all kind of like, you know, I'll adapt their voice and be like, well, we think, and they're like, no, that's not it. That's not genuine channeling. Every channel does that. I think a lot of them do anyways. They'll project themselves into it. They're not sure whether they're channeling or they're just on a roll themselves doing the voice, you know? And it's their own thought and it's close enough. It is, Robin, it's very close. We don't even want to say that it's total projection, but it's like, it's not, sometimes it's absurd. Sometimes Robin will just, she'll just jump to the most common phrase that she hears us make or something like that and throw it out. And she's like, no, the funniest one is when she projects, we say, we're not saying that. We'll come in really strong and say, we're not saying that because we don't want her having a misconception. That's horrible to think we told her something we didn't. So, but sometimes she's now gotten into the habit of she'll channel us and then she'll go, no, we're not saying that. So she'll kind of Pavlovian, like, say that, and that's not us, and that really frustrated us because now we became so afraid. But her channeling is much better now. It's really good, especially when she's speaking to you also. Should we get back to the concerns about how to handle people? Right, let's do that. So, loving people, and this is again, because you guys get so tripped up with romantic love, the idea that loving is be certain behaviors and you know, oh, this is my boyfriend, this is my girlfriend, I'm going to buy them flowers, I'm going to blah, 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 I'm going to do these things. These are acts that express love, sure. But you can say, that's horrible and I don't want to play with you and and everything you said is just so mean. You can say all those things and still love a person. You can never want to speak to somebody again and still love them. The love is just how you feel towards them. And so and setting boundaries and telling people you don't like what they did and things like that is an act of love. So the core difference, and some people will behave pretty hostile towards each other, it's still in love because they have strong boundaries or maybe they have anger or things like that, but they still love the other person. Some people will be very nice to people and very accommodating to people and make gestures that seem like love, but deep down and in their thoughts and underlying, they don't want those people to be well, right? Saboteurs, all kinds of things like that manifest, and in that case, that is the difference between the appearance of love and the actual innate feeling of love. And that feeling of love means you do want that person to be well. And in some cases, you will be mean to them because you believe that is integral to them getting better. So it's a very interesting inversion here where dominantly some of the more seemingly hostile or reclusive people in the world actually have a lot of love. And you know, sometimes the more people love people, the more they do end up being reclusive because it's easier to love people from far away. It's easier to make sure that they're well from far away if they're being difficult, because human relations is pretty dicey right now. But you'll see people who are acting in ways of love often are not always feeling it and are not always actually dreaming up the best things for others. And so divorcing the idea of action as being love. You're not trying to go around doing wonderful things for people all the time. That's nice, that's fine, but we're not talking about acts of love, performances of love, appearances of love. We are talking about bone deep feeling of love. And it's so much more important, because the bone deep feeling of love, even if you're not, helping someone across the street, which is a nice thing to do, but even if you're not doing that, the fact that you love them, the fact that you want them to get across the street safely, the fact that you feel for them is more important. Actions are very important too, but you can't go around doing good deeds all day, every day enough to affect the world the same way that just absolutely wanting the best for them. Wanting the best for, what did Jesus say? Love your enemies. Love your enemies. The best for them. You want them not to necessarily succeed in their agendas, but you want what you do know is best for them, their own well-being, their own clarity, their own love. And this is the fastest way. This is the fastest way to grab absolute, beautiful responsibility for your reality. And again, if you're having trouble reconciling the idea of self-responsibility with the idea that someone else shouldn't have to, I don't want to project that 2-year-old is responsible for their horrible experience, let us offer you this then. Never mind reincarnation and complexity of the actual benefit of a given experience, etc., but let us offer this. Don't worry about that 2-year-old being responsible or not. We're not telling you that anything's their fault. We're telling you, you are responsible for the overall frequency of this experience that will, in fact, affect everyone on this planet, including the 2-year-old that you're so concerned about. Don't worry about the others. We're only speaking to you. This is not knowledge for one who is not in the position to be responsible. This is another way to understand these teachings. It's for you who are at the helm. Let's say some don't have access to this, some are not there yet, many are not there yet. That's not the part of the game we're at for them. So this way of seeing, way of understanding is not for them, and you don't need to worry about any of that being projected onto them. It's for you. Do you believe you're responsible for, we want to paint a better picture than just saying your reality. Understand the whole web of all that you know, every person you've ever come into contact with, everything you've ever seen. Feel that web of interconnectedness. It is intrinsically responsive to you. Intrinsically responsive to you. Your love, unconditional, unhierarchical, in a single instant, because all that is in your room and is instantly responsive to you. you shift the entire whole thing. Everyone's experience all at once in the whole world becomes elevated because you are choosing a state of love, coupled with the awareness of that connectivity, which it's a different configuration, geometric configuration with a different potency when love is combined with unity awareness, with a unifying field awareness. The understanding that your room, you are your room and your room is your reflection, should not make you feel, we present it in mechanical terms, but it should not make you feel like this is mechanical. It is alive. Everything you can possibly think of is your exquisite creation, and you are at the heart of your own beautiful dream. And if you keep hating it, you'll destroy yourself. And we don't want you to do that. So we understand the risks of these teachings, but we really, really want you to grasp them, because the moment you grasp it, coupled with the moment you drop into your heart and feel it, will be the most powerful moment of your life. We're going to leave that there. We're going to post this, and we will be live on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on X Spaces. So join us there. Bring your questions. We will be there every Sunday, and we very much look forward to speaking with you.